Hello guys, Morten and Penny here. So in this video I will talk a little bit into what we are calling the title tag of an HTML document. So I just opened up Visual Studio Code, and as you see I have a title tag in line number 5 with the content of the title tag being my first page. So normally we wouldn't consider the title tag to be that important. As software developers, front-end developers, we may have a focus on the content of the website, the styling of the website, etc. But we need to have an understanding of what the title tag is, because it's pretty much more than just what you see in a browser. Let me give you an example here. So I opened a website called Zalando.dk. So the title tag of this website would be what you see up here. So the title tag will be used for headline in the tab in your browser. And for that, it's already a little bit more important than before we knew this. Because users could potentially have 10 websites open here in their browser. So for accessibility, for usability, it's good to have a meaningful name, so it's easy for people to see that this is Nike Online, the new collection, which means the new collection on Zalando. So use a meaningful descriptive title tag name for giving your users some usability, some help when they are navigating through the tabs in their browser. But title tags is way more than that. Title tags is also normally what you'll see when you do a Google search. So as you can see here, I did a Google search for Nike, and for the same example, you can see we have a Zalando hit here, where you will see this headline, which would normally be the one you'd be clicking. It's a clickable link, and it would also normally be what the users are reading before they decide which link to click. So it's way more important than the text here when you want the users to click to go through your website. So it's kind of your headline, it's kind of your big opportunity to write something interesting to catch the attention of the user, because I guess you want users to go to your site, you want traffic on your website. So you can see the title tag as your opportunity to get the curiosity of the user, to have the users click to see more. So try to write something descriptive, but also try to make your users curious so they want to know more. So that's a little bit more about the title tag. I spoke a little bit into it. You can say that title tag relates a bit to SEO, search engine optimization. Title tag relates to how well you rank on Google. It's not that important, because there are many more things you need to be functional on a website and you need to have focus on a website for achieving a high ranking. One of them being traffic. So websites with more traffic will generally rank higher than websites with low traffic. But there are a number of things influencing the rate you get on a given search word in Google and other search engines. But one of them is the title tag, so you might as well do that correctly. So there are some general guidelines, you can say, because people have discussed, you can find a lot of discussions on the internet, how to use the title tag, how to write a meaningful and search engine optimized title tag, how many characters should you use, etc. This I'm going to tell now is only a rule of thumb, because there may be a lot of other considerations to take into account when you choose your title tag. But in general, let's say you have a website with 50 pages and you don't want to use too much time on each of the pages for now, then you could potentially start with the primary keyword dash secondary keyword pipe brand name. Meaning, for example, you have a website, you're selling shoes, and so your brand name might be shoes, something like that. So you have your brand name as the last word. And why have it last? It's because you might have a domain name shoes.com, something like that. Your brand name would probably be promoted in a different number of ways, so that when the users Google for shoes, you would probably have the highest ranking already. So don't put it as the first word. As in many other tags, the most important word will be the first one when you create your title tag. Then you might have a specific page on your website for, let's say, orange shoes. So you might find that there's a specific market for orange shoes because it's being in fashion for the time, something like that. And you may also have found that there's a market for organic shoes, something like that. So you may consider to create a page on your website just for promoting orange organic shoes. So every time you found that there's a market for some specific keywords, you should consider creating a good, meaningful page for those keywords, with a good meaningful headline and a good meaningful text. And it's said again and again that Google loves content, so the amount of characters I have in my paragraph text would probably not be appropriate. You should probably have a lot more to present to your user to make it interesting. So, but this is just for the example. So to rewind, rule of thumb example of how to write your title tag could be to have a primary keyword, a dash and a secondary keyword, and then a pipe and a brand name. Okay? Then we also need to talk into the length of the title tag. And you will also find a lot of discussions around that on the internet. In general, again, as a rule of thumb, have your title tags beneath 60 characters. And it's not a 100% guarantee that Google will present your entire title tag. You can see here that there is an amount of room available. So if you have, let's say, like 200 or 500 characters in your title tag, Google may not present all of it. Google may even decide to show something else because your title tag is insanely bad. Let's say 500 characters, they would probably not want to present that. So you would have part of it presented, or maybe even something else. So keep your title tags beneath 60 characters. You may ask, how can I not be sure? Why isn't there a specific number of characters which I can use? And that's because the characters being presented on a search page like Google's, you can see that, for example, the I is not, it doesn't have the same width as the M. So you cannot just say a specific amount of characters. It's also depending on which characters is in your title tag. But try to keep it beneath 60 characters, and you should be good in 90% of all the presentations. Alternatively, if you cannot live with that, there are tools which can show the expected result of a title tag. So you could also consider getting some of these to help you. I can recommend a tool called Screaming Frog for that matter. So again, why are the title tags much more important than you would normally think when you just look at this one-liner? Well, it's much more important because it's what people see in their search engines. So you should try to influence how well you rank, and you should also try to influence how many clicks you get from the title tag by experimenting, by making it interesting. Another thing is, as I told, it's also what you'll see in your tab of your web browser. So in that context, it's important that it's meaningful, that it gives the context of the website, it's concise. So, and finally, more and more traffic is generated from social networks, and some external websites, especially social networks, will also use your title tag to determine what to display when you share that page. So use time on creating a good and meaningful title tag. It will pay back. All the amount and energy you put into it will pay back. Thank you for listening. I hope you can use this.